Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Phil Oil Center in San Juan City for your 2025 Spikers Turf Invitational Conference live on Pilipinas Live. And we've got a great contest for you here. The second in our triple header. We have the UST-GAMEVILLE Golden Spikers taking on the VNS Griffins. Of course, if you are just joining us, you miss a thrilling five-setter. The Alpha Insurance getting one over FU. And of course, later on, the big one, Crisscross going up against the Signal HD Spikers. Hello, I'm Paulo De Rosario alongside Ivy Remulla, and it is Ayana Perlas joining us on the sidelines. Partner, great to be working with you here today. And of course, we have two teams who need to climb up the standings.
That's right. So both of these teams are coming off a loss, so definitely today would be just one team going home with that win. And this is what we're talking about as we take a look at the team standings. UST with that loss against Savoge, their last game brings them to 1-1, while the Griffins are still looking for that first elusive win. So the Griffins have not won any game and only won one set so far in all of those matches, and that was actually an extended 27-29 set against the Signal HD Spikers.
And you know what? We're going to take a look at UST's previous game in particular, wherein the similar problem from their first game reared its ugly head. We have to talk about how error-prone this UST team is. They lost that game against the Savoge Spin Doctors, and of course, in this one, they have now accumulated a total of 66 errors in just 2 games, partner, and that is something that they are going to have to address in this particular contest.
That's right. Of course, as the game or the tournament progresses, all the wins become more important, and all the more important that they reduce these errors. In their last match, it was 36 errors against Savoge, and out of the 36, 17 of that was committed at the service line. So it's a high-risk, high-rewards game for UST, but definitely they have to minimize and reduce those errors.
Absolutely. So with that, you talk about high-risk, high-reward, 7 aces in that one, as we saw a while ago. But of course, unfortunately, we have to talk about an absence here today. G-Boy De Vega will not be playing here today due to his father passing away. So from all of us here in Spikers Turf, our sincerest condolences and our prayers go out to him and his family. But then he has had a great start here to the conference, and of course he will be missed in this squad. What are they going to miss without G-Boy on the floor?
Well, G-Boy has performed very well in their last game against Savoge. He did not start the match. He came off the bench, but he scored 17 big points, and that points did not come only from the attacks, but he also had he did perform very well also defending the floor.
Of course, and without G-Boy here, if you're VNS from a volleyball perspective, you're going to try and take advantage because their last game has not been to their liking at all. When you take a look at the VNS, they have yet to really hit their stride at this particular conference, and they're going to be hoping that it changes this time around because they were given a rude awakening by the Crisscross King Crunchers.
Well, they did go against the top 2 teams or the perennial finalists for this tournament. So their first 2 games were against Signal, and their last game was against Crisscross. So really big assignments for this young squad. And over that last match against Crisscross, it was actually 3-set win for the King Crunchers, and VNS struggled with the entire match. They were not able to convert their attacks, and the powerful hits and blocks and defense of the net proved too much, for the young squad.
Well, let's take a look at Kimi Liray here, because Kimi was actually targeted quite a bit in that last game, but still managed to put up good numbers. But you can consider it lesson learned here for Kimi Liray.
Yes, for this young player, very promising player. He's not the tallest player on the court, but definitely one of the highest leapers. And with that last match, although he was targeted for the reception, he managed to score 9.7 out of attacks and 2 from blocks. So definitely he would be somebody that we will be watching out for in the match today.
Again, he's an NCAA high school MVP, so we all know that he does have the pedigree. Of course, you want to join in the conversation, feel free to join us on social media. Use the hashtag SpikersTurf2025 and let us hear what you think about the contest we've been seeing so far. And of course, it's turned over now to the venue announcer to find out who is starting this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Spikers Turf Invitational Conference 2025, where power meets passion. Here at Phil Oil Eco Oil Center, San Juan City, is the preliminary rounds match number 11. Let us welcome the UST Golden Spikers and their challengers, VNS Griffins. Officiating this match, our national referees. First referee, Mr. Daniel Palada. Second referee, Mr. Erlindo Eusebio. Calling on the starters, first for UST Golden Spikers. Let's start with our team captain at number 7, Dux Yambao. Wearing jersey number 5, John Macam. At number 6, Albucari Sally. Number 13, Josh Ibanez. At 14, Trevor Valera. Number 18, Rybin Katinsag. Their starting libero, number 12, Adrian Alabar. Head coach is Mr. Oji Mamon. Introducing the VNS Griffins. Calling on jersey number 1, Kimi Liray. At number 3, Howard Guerra. At number 6, Axel Book. Number 14, Titus Villacruzes. Number 15, RK Medino. Number 19, John Diwa. Their starting libero, number 2, Joshua Cruz. With their head coach, Mr. Ralph Ocampo. It's the UST Golden Spikers versus VNS Griffins.
Welcome to your Spiker Surface. Take a look at the starters here for UST. Unchanged here for Coach Oji going into this particular contest against VNS. Again, looking for standout in the opposite hitter area. We'll talk a bit about that later on. And here for VNS, a couple of changes here. So John Diwa starting here after not starting in their last game, as well as Howard Guerra. So those are the two that are going to be hoping will make a difference after not starting in that matchup against Chris Cross. So interesting lineup configurations here for both these two teams. Hello, I'm Paulo De Rosario alongside Ivy Remulla. Ayana Perlas is our courtside reporter today. And we are so thankful you're here with us in the 2025 Spiker Surf Invitational Conference here on Pilipinas Live. And stinging start here for UST, partner. So we're looking at a UST team that's still trying to find its identity, especially when you take a look at the opposite area. As we mentioned a while ago, G-Boy not part of the lineup today due to a death in the family, unfortunately. And we'll get to hear more about that later on from Ariana Perlas. But what are we looking here from UST?
Well, first and foremost, and something that we mentioned earlier, that, well, UST, basically, they can't play a good game, but one of the perennial problems that they've been having has always been the errors they've been committing in the game. So they've played 3-set matches, but out of the 3 sets, imagine 30 errors, which is a bit too much. So if you're going up against, strong professional teams, then definitely those free points are something that you would have to be very wary of.
Absolutely. As the first point for VNS is courtesy of an attack error from UST, but they take that back immediately. You look at this VNS team, and there is a bit of inexperience there in this group. Every conference VNS does mix and match and change their roster. And it feels like this is a unit that will get better as the time progresses, and they have to be a bit patient in terms of their growth.
I agree, and we've seen a lot of bright spots for this young team. Just earlier I mentioned that while they have not won a game, they managed to secure one set win against Signal, and it was an extended set, 27-29. So imagine being able to pull that off against a very experienced team.
Going down the line here, UST ups their lead to 2. And of course, when you're taking a look at this VNS lineup, we mentioned him a while ago, Kimi Liray. He has MVP pedigree at the high school level. Of course, trying to expand that beyond the junior level is always going to be a bit of a challenge.
That's right. But, I've read this somewhere before that, one of the idols of Kimi Liray is actually Josh Ibanez, who is playing with against now. And primarily because Josh, as we know, is not the tallest on the floor as well for UST, but he's one of the heavier scorers, and his leaping ability also is exceptional. And that's where he, wants to make a name for himself as well. Not the tallest biker, but just like Josh can also be the main man.
Villacruz is with the serve here, and UST trying to score off the block, and they won't get a hand. So that means VNS will tie things up here at 3 apiece. So just looking at the rosters on paper, what we are expecting from these two teams, UST comes into this one as the prohibitive favorite. But as you mentioned a while ago, VNS, grabe ang bigat ng schedule nila to start out this conference. And it was very much a baptism through fire.
That's right. I think that's an understatement, actually, with these two teams. As we take a look at that error committed by Kimi Liray. So that was a net violation error.
Here's another look at that again, and that is the type of error that you feel with a bit of experience, he'll be able to manage to avoid more often. But this is such a great platform here for VNS to be able to go up against, as you mentioned a while ago, some of these players, idol nila, mga nakakalaban nila. And how often do you have that type of experience? As at the moment, VNS here keeping in pace with UST, 4 apiece early on here in set number 1.
And if you're VNS, this is how you would want it. You just keep it close, not allow UST to gain a lead.
Axel Book with that last point. The setup, the little push from the back kept alive. Cruz will lift it up, looking for Liray. Liray, heavy hit, and that's going to be a net violation against UST. And still here very early, we were criticizing them for their service errors in their last game. And not much service errors this time, but then quite a few others early on.
Well, they've already had 3 infractions, 2 from that attack, and then the third one is the net violation error.
And that time, UST will gladly take that point, evening things up here, because VNS took the lead just for a moment. And a chance here for UST's Albukhari Sali to get it done on the service line. Getting a bit of help from the tape. Cruz lifts that up. Liray again. And Liray overcooked it.
We're saying there was a touch from the hands of the blockers. So will there be a challenge? VNS calls for a challenge here.
Again, one of the features that I do enjoy here is that there are actual sirens on the posts now. So we are sure that the challenge is being raised here. So a net fault challenge is being raised by VNS. So we're gonna figure out. That's the thing. And I believe they're teaching how to use the sirens at the moment for the challenge.
It is something new.
Yeah, something we're all getting used to it. I enjoy it, to be honest. So right now, the challenge has been made, so it is being reviewed here. And of course, as we take a look at this VNS coaching staff, this is very much a teaching staff here.
Yes, that's right. So we know that, how they select the players. So these are really not very young. They recruit the players very young.
Yes.
And it's good to see that some of the players that they've had for the past conferences are still, in the system.
And is there a touch? It does not look like there is. So no net fault, unsuccessful challenge for VNS. And they're saying it's okay. And that's what it's all about. You talk about grassroots sports. VNS definitely is one of those more forward-thinking ones in the realm of volleyball, men's volleyball in particular. Again, being able to come here, Spiker Surf is something. Oh, Diwa.
Oh, what a hit there by Diwa.
Oh, you know what? It really feels that this team has grown exponentially from their first 2 games. Let's take a look at that again, partner. Just so sharp. And faces looking around there for UST. Pushing that up, getting a bit of help from the blockers there. Cruz lifting that up. Back row attack. Liray changing things up. Ibanez will go up. Oh, that was stinging.
Good combination play from UST.
Here's another look at that. Take a look at this one. Yambao lifting that up. You talk about Josh Ibanez not having a lot of size. And he's just so explosive when he finds just enough elevation.
That's right. You know, it's a combination of that and speed as well.
It's a feature wherein when the commentators compliment someone on the service line,
We tend to jinx it, you know.
Kasalanan po namin yun. I just want to say that Josh is completely faultless in that, and that is our fault. Here's Yamba with the setup again, and trying to make up for it. He does, getting a bit of help from the hands. So that means we're going to go to our first technical timeout with UST up by 1. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
You're still watching the Spikers Turf Invitational Conference 2025. Now, Paolo and Ivy, like what you guys mentioned earlier, missing today's game for UST is G-Boy De Vega due to his father's passing just yesterday. Condolences and prayers are sent out to his family during this very tough time, but the game must go on. Head coach Oji Mamon voiced out how disappointed he was after the last game. They were outblocked and the number of attack errors were unacceptable. Today, he will be focusing mainly on the opposite hitters, more options due to G-Boy's absence, and more effective attacking techniques. Hindi lang yung palo ng palo just to be a star. They need to play smart. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much for that report. That was Ayana Perlas with that. And again, filling in the G-Boy-sized hole in this team is always going to be difficult, as that one will go the way of VNS, who have now erected a 1-point advantage. Partner, so there is frustration here from Coach Oji, as mentioned by Ayana, and the position that they're being asked for obviously is one of the most scrutinized positions here in general.
And, well, you know, the consistency is something that Coach Oji has been looking for. And I'm sure he was mentioned, as Ayana said, that the errors, you know, has been something that's been plaguing the Golden Spikers. And it definitely breaks the momentum that they're able to create.
Well, VNS returning that point with Guerra hitting it straight to the net. And there was a 2-point advantage prior to that. Yambao here on the service line for UST. And you talk about consistency, and it's so hard to find at the collegiate level sometimes, especially as growing players. But of course, the demand is always there.
That's right. And plus, you know, the tournament that we have right now, of course, they're playing against more experienced players. The pace is different. And I think sometimes, you know, it can also affect you that you're playing against the players that you're idolizing, as we mentioned earlier.
So right now, there's going to be another challenge, because I actually heard the VNS coaching staff, because they're right beside us, complaining that there should have been a block touch in that last point and that it should have still been allowed to be live. It happened right in front of our officials, so we're going to see whether or not VNS do have a case. Again, block touch the challenge here. So when we take a look at Coach Oji's boys here, especially when we talk about trying to find that consistency from this group, it's so important for them in general to be able to curb down some of the things that have already stuck out as we take a look at that. So yes, there is a block touch.
There is a block touch. That ball should still be in play.
So the point will be replayed. And Yambao will still be on the service line. So a chance here for VNS.
So that was a good challenge to be called by VNS.
So VNS still in the lead here, 10-9 after that challenge. Great challenge called. Yambao with the setup. Ooh, and good blocking here coming from VNS. And Bok, I believe, will take credit.
Good read on that attack.
Again, perfect combination there, Bok and Villacruz's.
Early substitution here for the Golden Spikers, and Sally takes a rest. And comes in the younger Mandal.
And now the blocking, just working out here for VNS. And the coaching staff will be very happy because, again, they're very loud and they're right beside us. My partner, they were actually talking about how their blocking is what they were working on prior to this matchup. And so far, a couple block points to be happy about.
That's right. So, you know, it's going to be easier for your floor defense if you have an established block.
And Jorman Umandal coming in strong. Again, coming off the bench, making an impact almost immediately. Let's take a look at that again.
Good angle by Umandal. Only one blocker challenging him at that time. So in their last game against Aboj, Umandal also came off the bench and made immediate impact as soon as he was fielded in.
Finished with 11 points. As that's going to be an ace here coming from Jan Makam. 12-11. Let's take a look at that ace again. Just so stinging. Nothing they could do about it. Right in front of Bok. Makam trying to build on that last ace. Lirai. And Lirai not able to get any sort of angle on that. So rather it was going to be a block touch. But then UST insisting that there shouldn't be any.
So will this be... Oh, there's a challenge
yeah, it's
from
going
the
to be a
UST
challenge,
side.
yes. No, and it's funny because they were talking amongst themselves here, particularly Umandal saying it was so far away. So they're very confident in this.
So he was the one challenging that attack from Lirai. And he was saying that there's no block touch. And usually, you know, these players would really own up to it if they know that it will be the result of the challenge anyway.
Yeah, but then what if you own up to it and it turns out to be wrong? I mean, feeling
that's a first.
Yeah.
Well, that's a first. But you just thought that you touched it, but it just so happens that it was just, you know, the speed of the ball or something like that in the air.
Yeah. Let's take a look at this. Is there a touch? No.
No touch.
So UST gets this right. So sorry, correct what I said a while ago. Sometimes players are so confident that they didn't touch it, but then when you look at the replay, it's clear as day, right?
They touched it.
So again, that's a lot better here from UST. So UST ties it up at 12 apiece here. Again, good contest here so far. No one really going too far ahead. Net defense slowed that down, and that time looking for a block touch. They
Was
won't
there a
get
touch?
it. And they're going to challenge again. So this has been a game of challenges so far. 2 already by VNS. Oh, so
VNS
there.
acknowledges.
Acknowledges it.
So Villacruz's admits to the touch. No need to delay and break the momentum.
Oh yeah, because momentum is a thing for sure. And sometimes you understand it, right? Because at the end of the day, if both teams get cold, no one really wins.
Yes, that's right.
Lirai goes up. Oh, that's just great reception.
Excellent pickup.
Banyes stopped there. Blocking slowed that down. Lirai again will try. Oh, and that block was just pitch perfect.
Excellent defense at the net for UST.
Let's take a look at that again. Lirai saw 2 and tried to just bounce it off their hands, but that time just too good from Trevor Valera.
Trevor Valera had 11 points in their last game against Savoj, so one of the 3 players in double digits.
Of course, let's see how well this UST team will block this time around, because against Savoj only tallied 4 block points.
Another good pickup there for UST.
Well, the floor defense is definitely there. Free ball to play with here for VNS. They go to the wing. Good rally here so far. And that'll end it. Again, UST coming in hot.
That's right. Alabar really doing a good job, you know, defending the floor. 2 straight pickups. That was perfect for Alabar.
You know what? The great thing here is that sometimes we don't really herald defense as much as it should be, but that is a point won by the defense of UST as well.
And remember, there will be no attack possible without any defense.
Yes.
It all starts with that good pass.
Just fantastic as Jan Makam. Already with an ace here in this one on the service line yet again. Trying to send this to our second technical timeout. Oh, and that was easy. Picked up here by UST. And that means we're going to our second technical timeout with UST up 16-12.
I think the main goal of the team, at kahit na main goal ko talaga, is matuto lang dito because we will be playing against sa mga seniors namin and of course sa mga pros club teams na mas matanda and mas mahaba yung pinagsamahan sa amin. So I think ayun lang pinaka-main goal ko talaga, pinaka-main goal ng team na to is matuto, mag-learn and of course execute the system and doon namin makikita kung gaano nun ka-master yung system.
That was Josh Ibanez trying to figure out, or rather trying to share what they are planning to get out of this Spikers turf. And of course, when you look at this UST team, the pieces are great. And they are trying to develop that chemistry, that understanding of the system. And of course, for Coach Oji, trying to figure out which pieces fit in the best and where.
That's right. And joining the tournament like this, going up against a much experienced and stronger team is good experience for this squad. You know, trying to get that system together. And I think the most, even for the Griffins, for the matter, is for joining this this tournament, you know, they get to find themselves in situations wherein they have to figure out how to come back or to recover, because at the end of the day, their coaching staff can only do as much. It's, you know, it's the players on the court that's doing all the job.
And there UST answer back after VNS score after the second technical timeout. And for VNS, I can guarantee this is a type of education they will not be able to get elsewhere. As UST will try to continue their dominance in this frame with Trevor Valera on the service line. Book lifts that up. Bautista sending it the other way. Yambao. Ibanez.
Was there a touch? No touch, according to the Griffins.
And cue the challenge. So USD adamant that there should be a point going their way, courtesy of that alleged block touch.
This is only the first set, but there's quite a number of challenges already that we're having.
And of course, it just goes to show you how important it is, especially for a team like VNS who feel like underdogs to really scrap and battle for each and every point. And if you're USD, of course, they want to make sure that there's a level of comfort here, so they are just allowed to play. As we see Coach Oji there on your screen. So is there a block touch? And
it seemed clear, yes, so there is no block touch.
So good eye here from our officials.
That's right. So point goes to the Griffins.
And that's an unsuccessful challenge. And that is the face of someone who has challenged unsuccessfully from Coach Oji. Yambao with the setup. And Diwa, just good presence there at the net. And that's another throwaway here for UST. Arge Medino on the service line here. Good pass. Ibanez again, able to just pop up out of nowhere. It's like when he jumps, he's on a trampoline.
He's floating on air, you know, literally. This is a good setup, of course, by Bao. Just the perfect speed and height that Josh Ibanez is looking for.
Such a talented player, talking about Josh Ibanez. Always want to watch out for it. Omandal sends it straight to the net, giving the point back. So unforced error count here, 5 for UST, 8 for VNS. So when we take a look at the error management here of UST, again, we just want to remind everyone that there were 30 in the first game of UST, 36 in the second one.
That's right.
And that is just too much here for UST to be happy with. As Ibanez, oh, stinging hit again.
That catches the hands of a blocker from the side of the Griffins. I think it was Diwa.
Again, without the G-Boy De Vega here, Josh Ibanez has taken up the scoring cudgels here for UST.
Well, in their last game, you know, Josh Ibanez had to take a seat back and watch the rest of the team from the bench with that 4-set loss.
And Bok wins the point here for VNS. 19-17 now. As to VNS's credit, they're not going anywhere. Again, we look at how promising this young group is for VNS. And you never know, maybe in a few years you see them in maybe in other teams, maybe in some universities and making a difference there. Terence Marticon is on the service line. Yambao with a setup. And that time Marticon unable to shift his body to control that.
It's a 3-point advantage now for the Golden Spikers.
Hernandez will troop to the service line. Didn't score in the last game, coming off the bench as well. Only entering the 5th and 4th frames in that loss against Abuj. Bok with the reception, and he goes on the attack. So Bok with the point, and all of a sudden, just a 2-point advantage, partner. Anything could still happen.
The Griffins are keeping this close, and this is how it's supposed to be. You're not supposed to allow UST to gain a very sizable lead. You know, you don't want to be playing catch-up, when in fact, at the start of the set, they did a very good job in exchange of points.
And again, if you're VNS, you take a look at the growth here so far. Again, granted they played Signal and then crisscross. As UST gives a point back, and it's only 1-point advantage right now. VNS only scored 14 points in the first frame against crisscross, followed by a 15-point second set. So obviously, in terms of their offense, it has improved. Chance to listen in to the huddles.
Malayo, buka. Out of timing or out of sync kayo, out of system. Kailangan ba paluin sa net? 10 error na naman tayo eh. Ano, okay lang. Nakaka-frustrate kayo sa totoo lang.
Pag nag-set sila ng open, mataas, tapatan nyo lang, huwag kayong mauna. Kanina, lampas kayo. Kanina, unang-una kayo. Okay?
Wait lang. 1 point at a time tayo. Unang pass, maganda.
Well, strong words there from Coach Oji. I think it's safe to say he's frustrated with the error count.
Well, it did come straight from him, you know, the feeling of frustration. And again, it's the same message, the errors. I think there's pretty much, you know, with how the team is performing, he could probably see the boys are doing what was done in practice, except for the fact that they've been committing quite a sizable number of errors. 10 already, as Coach Oji mentioned, and we're just in the second, we just started the first set.
And they are going to say there already was a floor touch on that pancake save here coming from UST. So we are going to see if they do have a point or not, because that was actually really close, at least from our vantage point. But then back to UST here, we're always talking about errors. When you are trying to coach errors out of the game, what is that down to? Is it down to discipline, patience, technique? How do you coach that out of a habit.
Well, there's actually many things to it. Sometimes one of the reasons why you commit an error is that you try too hard. Trying too hard, just makes it more error prone. As we take a look at the challenge, so was there a floor touch? No.
No.
Yeah, very clear.
Well, that is just great effort there coming from UST. I believe that is Valera who had that.
Actually, when the challenge was called, everybody on the floor on the side of UST were raising their thumb. They were saying, no, it was good, it was good. So everybody, I think, was sure that that call will come in favor of the Golden Spikers.
As the Xiambao troops the service line. And that's better blocking. And UST now starting to pull away here, 22-19, and cue the timeout from VNS as we take a look at this block one more time.
Crucial. Hoy guys, kailangan natin ng intensity. Sinabi ko na yan sa inyo kahapon. Hindi pwede masyado tayong malamya. Ang dami natin binigay ng punto sa kalaban tapos okay lang. Intensity naman tayo. Umako tayo ng responsibility sa loob. Ha? Ano lang yan? 3 lang yan. Dumikit tayo kanina.
Frustration there from Coach Ralph Ocampo talking about the lack of intensity. And when you look at the lack of intensity, sometimes it could be down to looking at the lead and losing energy. That is something that they want to try and stomp out of their game.
That's right. And I think, being able to overcome that is one of the biggest things you would really develop and learn here in the Spikers Turf, being a young team like the Griffins. But, intensity is always something that can help. In any sport that you look at, having that intensity, that joy, when you play inside the court always helps, make your performance better.
Well, the blocking, the net defense here of UST has been on point here in the past 2 points at the very least, as that is another block point coming the way of the Tigers, the Golden Spikers rather.
So we'll see how the Griffins will adjust their attacks, given that's a back-to-back points, courtesy of blocks for the Golden Spikers.
Xiambao with the serve there. Leray gives a free ball away. Yambao has all the choices to make, and they go to Ibanez. Good save. And there it is, 3 straight block points here for UST. And all of a sudden, they are 1 away from claiming the first frame. Just much better there. Nothing that they could do about it. Talk about Medino. So we're going to listen in the huddle yet again.
Ginagin yung ganyan nyo, ginagawa yung babae yung atake nyo. Ayaw mong hatawin na ganun, kaya hindi umaalis sa yung bola mo, ginaganon mo lang yung bola. Mahihirapan tayo niyan. Lahat ng first 6 natin, kanina pa kayo ganun ng ganun. Binablakan lang kayo ng binablakan, hindi kayo nag-iisip. Sinabi na sa inyo, kailangan nyo lagyan ng magandang spin yung bola eh. O kayo ng offer yung ginagawa eh, kailan ba yun na lumayo yung score eh. Hanapin niyo yung laro nyo.
There's frustration here from Coach Ralph because he's obviously familiar with the potential of this crew, and there he is not seeing it.
That's right. That was really very specific technical instructions over at that timeout. It's all about technique, how you're supposed to execute the spike that he was looking for. And he's actually pointing out the reason why, UST was able to have those back-to-back blocks. So let's see if there's any adjustment in the attack.
So Bok stop there, and better blocking here coming from VNS. Bok again. Great floor defense coming from Ibanez. And Ibanez goes on the attack, pushes it, and finds the right spot. From defense to offense, and all of a sudden, the first frame win. 25-19. Let's take a look at that final point here, partner.
This is Josh Ibanez with that tip.
Ibanez getting on that trampoline with all the hang time in the world, and finding just the right spot. 25-19 in favor of UST going into the second set. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Phil Oil Center here in San Juan City as we take a look at the highlights of set number 1 where UST takes the win here. Partner, UST have been attacking well, have been showing great net defense. But we heard it a while ago from Coach Oji. There is one thing in their game that they do have to fix, and we're going to see that in the numbers in just a few, just how much of a problem it is for this young squad.
That's right. So we've seen a lot of bright spots for both teams. Actually, UST, a lot of excellent defense, same on the side of the Griffins. But first, the numbers for the first set. So UST heavily favored with the attacks, with the blocks. We've seen a lot of a sequence of good blocks as well. But the number of errors, 10 free points given away by the Golden Spikers in the first set. And out of that 10, 8 came from attack errors. So if the game previous is against the Spin Doctors, the problem was errors from the service line. So they sort of managed that a little bit right now. They only had 2 infractions from the service line, but errors shifted now to the attack.
Yes.
So it's not from the service line, but now it's in the attack. So I think this is what Coach Audrey was trying to point out. You know, the errors that they have been committing, they're not able to cure that.
Yeah, and you know what? We're going to take a look at the attack points here of VNS as well. So they have 6. You take a look at Josh Ibanez. He has more attack points than the entire VNS team at the moment, who's 9 out of 13. He has 69% from the attack. And you take a look at VNS and their attack points, partner, 6 of 29. So
right.
that has been a weak point here, or at least a point of improvement that VNS have been struggling to address, and what Coach Ralph Ocampo has been frustrated by, as we heard in the timeouts.
That's right. So they're not able to create a lot of opportunities for themselves for the attack, because if we count out the number of attempts, you know, Josh Ibanez alone had 13, but the entire VNS squad had 29. So that was the disparity.
That's much better here coming from VNS, coming from the back. This good floor defense shown by these two squads here so far for the first point, and Ibanez couldn't score then as well. Here's Bulk trying to push, and he will find the line. And that is a shining moment here for VNS, because that was a great exchange between these two.
That's right, and it was a very smart move here for Bulk. Let's take a look at that. Changing his mind in mid-air and finding that corner, that really caught the Golden Spikers by surprise.
And that was such a bright smile coming from Bulk. Yambao with the setup. Oh! No stopping that one.
Excellent play for UST.
Let's take a look at Yambao with the setup. And that was just picture perfect for UST. Josh Ibanez with the serve. Guerra with the setup. Soft touch. Oh, and a great pancakes in. The second one here for UST in this one. Better reception. Oh, that's a free ball to play with. Lirai was able to save that one. And that will be VNS's point. So we are now seeing a more energetic, a more intense VNS team here at the start of the second set.
And what I like about how VNS is starting the second set is that they're playing smarter. So as you can see, it's not always about all the strong hits. We've seen a lot of variations already. And, it seems like they're really reading the defense of UST now.
And it feels like they have more of a spring in their step here. So that is able to catch the line, and that'll count as a block point here. So VNS just doing all the right things to start out set number 2.
And this could be a cause of frustration on the side of the Golden Spikers. So this would be interesting to see, how UST will recover from this one.
Yambao lifted that up. Bulk with the reception. It's going to be a free ball to play with here for UST. VNS setting up defensively again. Better blocking coming from VNS. First to the ball, still alive. From the back. Nothing there. We're going back and forth here. And that time, UST will be able to score, making it a 1-point lead for VNS.
Well, this is a good start for the second set. We've seen a lot of good floor defense.
You know what? This first part here of this second frame feels completely different from the entirety of that first set.
I agree.
It's a much more comfortable VNS team here. especially on the attack. And UST having to raise their game as well. Diwa, soft touch. Oh, what a save. They go the other way. Kept alive. A bit of a scramble. It's a bit mad. And that time, UST end up with the point yet again.
Off the hands, off the blockers, off the Griffins. Umandal gets a point.
And here, it was a bit messy, partner, but at the end of the day, it's all about getting that score. And this time, VNS answering back. Yeah, I mentioned it a while ago how this feels like a completely different ball game here at the start of the second frame. I think it's mainly due to the energy that we're now seeing from VNS.
And that is intensity that Coach Ralph was looking for in the first set. And again, you know that we mentioned that it can change things for your team.
Yes. Yambao with a setup. Better blocking again. Diwa with the touch. Ibanez. Stinging hit and trying to save it, and they won't be able to. So just a miscue there from VNS. All knotted up at 4 apiece. You know, we were talking about this a while ago, partner. Based on what you've seen here early on in the conference, the challenge for VNS as a unit, as a group, is to when they face more adversity, is how they can overcome it mid-game. As that time, UST finally steal the lead here. 5-4 in favor of the boys in gold. Here's another look at that one. Just finding the gap there in between, as Trevor Valera will enjoy that score. Liray lifting up.
Did he find some hands? Yes, that did catch some hands.
So again, VNS refusing to go away. And the way that they're doing it, the way they're keeping pace here, it feels more sustainable instead of relying on the errors of UST like we saw a while ago.
Oh, another excellent hit. A lot of activation in the middle going on here for the Golden Spikers.
And Trevor Valera's enjoying himself in this frame. Another look at that. Yambao finding him easy. You know, he has the size, he has the power. As UST are looking to build on this. Oh, ran into that one. Oh, and there was a gap, a big hole in the middle. And UST were able to exploit that. But we have to credit the floor defense again of UST because it all started from there.
That's right. And everything, you know, becomes easier, of course, for a Yambao once he gets a good pass.
And Umandal, crafty in that one, not forcing it, able to know what's the best ball to play for that point. Makam with the serve. And unable to get that across the tape. As we go to our first technical timeout in what has been an entertaining set number 2 with UST up 8-5.
Welcome back to the Spikers Turf Invitational Conference 2025, where power meets passion. Now, Paula and Ivy, after missing their first 2 matches, this conference head coach Ralph Ocampo and main setter Howard Guerra are finally back for the team. The two just won a championship in the Batang Pinoy Beach Volleyball 2025, causing their absence. And today was really all about having a more polished system, since Howard knows it by heart, and the team is very confident when he is on the court. But as we heard, Coach Ralph is very frustrated because in last night's training, they showed intensity, they showed a lot of teamwork, and he did tell me before this game he was expecting it to follow through today. Kaya medyo mabigat talaga yung first set performance kay Coach. So hopefully this will be a wake-up call for VNS. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much for that report. That was Ayana Perlas with that. And Howard Guerra, as mentioned by our Ayana Perlas, coming in his first game of the competition. And you just got to feel, partner, that sometimes there's going to be first game jitters. And sobrang bigat that they didn't have Howard Guerra
Right.
in their first 2 games against the 2 top teams of this entire league.
That's right. So big shoes to fill, you know,
Yeah.
for whoever is left in the team. But it's good, you know, to have the team complete already, at least, you know, for the remainder of the tournament. And each win, of course, that they will try to get will be important for the Griffins. And same as I must say for the Golden Spikers, because for this pool, only 4 or the top 4 will advance to the next round. So the placing will be very important for all the teams.
VNS keeping that alive and able to answer back. 1-point lead left here for UST to try and take care of. Medino with the point. Another look at that. And able to get it beyond the hands and just beyond the libero. Here's Yambao with a setup. Cruz with a tap.
Oh, good chase by Liray.
And the effort is there. Can VNS get reset? Ibanez. And they're going to try it
Oh,
again.
another chase by Liray.
Liray with the save, and that's just too short.
Oh, we really have to give credit, you know, to VNS. Trying to keep that ball alive, and Liray just, you know, chasing it all over the court.
Another look at that again. Here's Liray with the attempt for the save. That was his second one. And you see, that's why it's important to learn how to sprint too.
Yeah.
And that's much better coming from the VNS Griffins. Andre Bakil with the point. And that's important here for VNS, able to score with a variety of ways.
And it's not just about the hard hits. You know, those tips have worked well for them. It's just finding the right area.
Yambao with a setup.
Just
Soft
like
touch.
that tip.
Wow.
Well, the defense of the Griffins already expecting hard hit from UST.
Well, you know what? There is a huge gap between the front and the back lines here for VNS. Let's take a look at this again. And then watch the reaction of those at the net. Not able to see it there at the space behind them. Much better here coming from VNS again. Again, that is Medino. 11-8. Still in favor of UST. Or rather 11-10. It should be 10 here. And that time Diwa unable to dunk that down, but there's going to be a challenge here. I believe might be on a net touch.
It's a reaching beyond challenge that will be called by VNS.
So reaching beyond the net, that is the challenge to be made. Again, the first frame was really punctuated by challenges, I think it's fair to say. As VNS, they look completely different here in set number 2, partner, especially in the early exchanges.
That's right. There's more intensity, more aggressiveness. And again, like what the pointed out earlier, the variation of the attacks that they have been executing is far, far different from how it was in the first set. So they're playing smarter here in the second set.
And of course, we're going to try and see the numbers when it comes to the error count of UST, because that is something that we have been monitoring all game long. In the first frame, 10 errors, 8 errors from their attacks. And of course, later on, we're going to see how that has developed here because, well, we saw the improvement in attack player of VNS.
Right.
So let's see if the other way around is going to be a case. Reaching beyond. Yes. So that means it is a good challenge here for VNS. So 11 all here with VNS refusing to go away.
Well, that was a good challenge called by the coaching staff because otherwise the point could have gone to UST.
So far here, partner, only 2 errors here for UST.
Well, that's a good ratio for UST considering they had 10 in the first and early on. It was, I mean, before the second technical timeout, they already had a couple of errors.
Yes, absolutely. We were actually talking about that, how they were allowing VNS to come back into the game via the errors. But here, we have a different look at things. So our officials here are going to confer as we take a look at this last sequence. Because there was a lot of movement at the net. So the point will go to VNS. 12 to 11. And don't look now, partner. They do have the lead. And this is honestly the sharpest we've seen VNS look.
The question would be if the Griffins will be able to sustain the lead, or at least the momentum being on their side.
Oh yeah, for sure. Ball.
Oh, good save by Umandal. It's going to be a free ball.
And who do they turn to here? And VNS are showing different teeth here. Medino with the point. And they're not overly reliant on one player.
Yeah.
Book has been able to contribute. Deray obviously was a danger man that we were looking at. But Medino also coming in strong as well.
Well, this is what's good about the Griffins. You know, it's everybody gets a share of the load.
But that was a good one there coming from Jan Makam.
Very sharp cross-court hit.
Now, we were talking about how VNS had to overcome adversity. UST trying to show that they also could. As Umandal set to serve. They go to Liray. Good floor defense again coming from UST. Diwa there first. Valera able to be there. Bulk.
Oh, too strong.
Miscue there, and we're all knotted up at 13 apiece again. Katinsag on the service line here for UST. Scored 5 points in their outing against Sabuch. And that time the net defense all of a sudden comes to life here for UST.
This time UST was able to read Medino's attack better. Medino has been was able to create a couple of points there from the opposite.
Katinsag here with the serve. Liray pops that back up. Diwa. Again, it's the variety of the points here that we're seeing. And we are actually seeing tangible improvement here, partners. Take a look at Diwa's point here. Let's use Medino as an example here because the numbers are stark when it comes to set number 1, set number 2.
That's right. In the first set out of his attempts, he was not able to convert any point. But here in the set number 2, so far 5 out of 7. So this is a good ratio, 71% for Medino.
And things have changed, but UST are trying to make sure the one thing that doesn't change is them coming out on top in this frame.
And the Valera with an excellent hit to score the 15 point for UST.
Liray. Oh, again, the defense on point here for UST. And scoring off the block and sending us to our second technical timeout. UST up by 2 against a scrappy VNS team here in set number 2. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
goal po namin ngayon ay makapasok po sa top 4 at makalaro namin yung mga team sa ibang bansa na sasali sa Spikers. Ang goal ko po ngayon matapos ko yung ngayong season na yung Spikers Turf na maganda yung nilalaro ko.
That was Camille Rai with their goals, their ambitions, their dreams for this conference. And they don't care how young this group is, how inexperienced this unit might be. Their goal to finish in the top 4 is obviously ambitious. They were always going to have a tough start, especially taking on Crisscross, Signal. When you take a look at Crisscross in particular, it was always going to be difficult, but then their ambition to be in the top 4 is a great place to start.
That's right. And probably they're thinking, okay, we're done with the 2 strong teams, so we just have to focus on the rest that we think is more manageable. You know, that could be a mindset. And you just have to be able to put yourself in at least in the 4th spot, at least for the Griffins. That could be a good target. Like we mentioned earlier, only the top 4 teams will be moving on to the semis, where they will be joined by the 2 foreign guest teams that Kimi Rai would want to play against with. That's the Kinda University of Japan and Pro Volleyball Academy of Australia. And all teams moving on to that semis will be playing another single round robin.
So that's our format. For those who missed it, you can kindly replay that as we take a look at this again. 17-14 now in favor of UST. So VNS looking good at the start of the frame. UST mounting a bit of a comeback of their own. Lirai will score off the block. So Lirai is an exciting player, obviously, with MVP pedigree in the NCAA juniors.
And again, you know, if you look at him on the floor, the libero is actually taller than him.
Well, I actually don't know if it's because the libero's tall or he's... But that time, the libero couldn't get to that, as that will be UST's point yet again. Let's take a look at that one more time, partner. And I think this is a good shot where you're going to see the height comparison here between these two. They're practically the same size. As we go to a timeout, let's listen in.
Shadow ng wing, tapos nun yung pagsara ng middle sa block, yun yung problema natin. Yung middle natin nag-overlap dun sa nag-overlap kayo dun sa shadow ng wing spiker natin. Kaya nangyayari, lumulusot lahat ng cross. Wala kayong nagagawang shadow. Diba? Tapos yung atake natin, smart. Gusto nyo malakas, pero malakas chance po. Minsan swipe out score na eh. Mag-isip naman kayo, dumiskarte kayo. Sabihin mo
Again, just wanting more variety, more thoughtfulness going into their attacks.
And you see the message, you know, in the timeout is that it's not all about just getting the kill, but you have to be smart about how you're going to get the point. So it's not always about those those strong hits, rather. But Coach Ralph is asking the guys to think about how they will earn the point.
Well, again, that was a smart hit. Very powerful, very strong. So we take a look at the wind-up and the hit coming from Medino, who really has found his groove personally in the second frame. So they are looking at a substitution here. That's the reason why I have a bit of the delay. And eventually it has been made. So right now VNS, courtesy of Titus Villacruzes on the service line. Avila with the setup. And that is a good one coming from UST. That is Trevor Valera again.
Once again, right. Well, has been playing very well in today's game.
The second set in particular, Valera has really found his groove. One of 3 players to score in double digits in their loss against Abuch. He had 11 points. Jan Macam and G-Boy De Vega are the other 2 players who had double-digit scoring. That time, the libero able to keep that alive. Ball. As UST look for Ibanez. Lirai, now Cruz. Book again, and that time not able to get the timing right.
Straight into the net.
Another look at that again, and Book came in hot. Will be frustrated he wasn't able to really execute. 20-16 in favor of UST. And overcooked it there. So a bit of frustration here for VNS. They're looking at each other, and the lead has started to grow. Again, they're looking like a shadow of the team that we saw in the first few points here, or the early exchanges of set number 2.
Right, they played better. You know, it was a very hard start actually for the Griffins. This is which is far from how they are, the pace that they're playing with right now.
Howard Guerra playing his first game here in Spiker's Turf, wanting to make a difference. Again, he has that beach volleyball pedigree, but that time, that beach volleyball pedigree could not help him in that floor defense.
Ibanez with a powerful down-the-line hit.
22-17. Still in favor of UST. Looking to make this 2 frames to none. And that's much better coming from VNS. Maybe that'll get them going. Bakil with the points. So a couple of changes happening here. Bautista will check in. Also changing liberos as Patadon comes in for VNS. Bautista scored 5 points last time around in their loss. Bakil. Yambao with the setup. Ooh, and that time that was a bit of a miscue there. Patadon lifting that up. Good coverage here coming from UST. Ibanez getting a bit of help from the tape. Bautista pops that up, and Bautista needs to do something with this. From the back, and that time Patadon could not control it.
Another powerful hit from UST.
Here's another look at that, the wind up, perfect. And just too much mustard to deal with. Katinsag with the score. And here's Ibanez. Looking to put more pressure on VNS. What a serve. But they give it straight back. Yambao with a setup. And they would love to have more of those sequences, talking about VNS.
Excellent defense at the net for the Griffins.
Bakil with the block. And showing a bit more positive emotion here for VNS. The question is now, can they keep their service game clean? And how close can they make it against this UST team with the sizable advantage? Block points there, all knotted up at 2 apiece.
And Manaka immediately making an impact upon his entry.
Yamanaka didn't even play in the last game. And here he is. Instant impact, the point, and cue the timeout. Chance to listen in.
Tumatrasik yung bola. Ulit-ulit kong sinasabi, shoulders in front, pag i-depensa kayo, spin ball lang eh. Kahit ganyan, hindi mo yan aangat yan eh. Inaral natin, tapos hindi nyo ginagawa. Tapos, pagdating dito, iba yung gagawin nyo. Yung problema talaga tayo. Kanina pa kayo. Ha? Go kayo. Kuha tayo momentum. Bilis!
You know how I mentioned a while ago that the coaching staff here of VNS is a teaching group. Because it feels like each and every time we hear them, they all know they are helping educate or jumpstart the education here of this young VNS team.
Yeah, so, you know, very rare that we hear a lot of technical instructions during timeouts. But for VNS, there's quite a number of those, you know, insofar in all the timeouts that we've heard. So it's basically a lot of a reminder of the things that they've already been doing in practice. Oh, that is an unfortunate turn of events for the Griffins. An excellent save by Cruz. And nobody to attempt on the second ball.
Now I wish we had a mic on for their next huddle talking about VNS. But right now, that means We go into the third frame with UST up 2-0, and this is gonna have them talking because no one taking responsibility. They talk about accountability a lot, talk about VNS, and at that time there was none to be found. 2-0 in favor of UST. They take set number 2, 25-19. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back. So watch your Spikers Turf 2-0 in favor of UST. We just saw some of the online content that our players have been churning out for us. And as a millennial, I don't understand everything, so we're gonna move on and talk about set number 2 instead. Ivy, let's take a look at this because it was a good start coming from VNS. Unfortunately for them, unable to sustain that momentum, and that is when UST pounced.
That's right. And, you know, I was actually having high hopes for the Griffins because that was really a very excellent start in the second. But then again, once the UST was able to take control or gain the momentum, there was no looking back for the Golden Spikers. As we take a look at their numbers, still UST on top when it comes to the attacks, 20 points or 20 points from attacks. Although this time around, the VNS outblocked the Golden Spikers. But take a look at the errors, and I think this is where both teams did a good job in the second set. 4 free points only given away. And I would say that for UST, this is really one of their accomplishments.
Oh, yeah. That is the biggest win here for UST, considering how error-prone they were or have been in the early days of the conference. Only 4 errors given away. Same with VNS, by the way. You contrast that with 10 given away in set number 1.
That's right. So only 14 points given away by the Golden Spikers so far, and we're already entering the third set. So whatever they did over that one-day gap since Friday, then that it worked well for the team.
You know, I was going to say, whatever they did in the 2-minute gap between the first frame and the second frame worked wonders for this UST team. Again, when you look at the accumulated amount of errors that UST has had in their first 2 games, 66 free points given away majority of them in the last game was through the service line. This time around, a bit of a different type of error. I believe it was 8 attack errors in set number 1. And now have adjusted, and now only 4 errors given set number 2. Let's see if they can continue and do even better here in the third frame. And of course, for VNS, it's about sustaining that consistency, that start. Because they started out so well, but the end was such a whimper, a miscommunication in terms of taking responsibility for the ball.
That's right.
Was their downfall.
That's right. It was really a very excellent save by Cruz, you know, and nobody to get that ball can really be very frustrating. But let's see, you know, if the Griffins are able to bounce back from, they're down by 2 sets, so this is a must-win set here for VNS.
All or nothing here. Cruz here on the service line, who did not play in their last game, by the way.
Another good pickup there by Cruz.
Alabar with the save there. Guerra with a setup. And not much UST could do about that one. Sally unable to control it.
I like the aggressiveness again that we're seeing here with the Griffins. So this is something or somewhat similar to what we've seen in set number 2. So the question now would be for VNS if they can maintain this, if they can sustain this up to the end of the third.
My correction a while ago, Cruz did play in the last game, talking about VNS. And that time, the net defense has worked again, and all of a sudden, good start here for VNS, like what we saw in set number 2.
3-0 is the score in favor of the Griffins.
That time, Katinsag unable to get that past the wall, erected by VNS. And that has been a constant positive here for the Griffins. Their net defense has been on point here as Diwa scores again.
Back-to-back block points here for the Griffins. 4-0 forces UST to call a timeout.
Gusto mo? Ay, mga choices nyo, hindi yun yung best option. Yellow na yung bola, naging red pa, namatay pa.
Let's go tayo. Pag ganun na, pwede ka pumasok.
Huwag kang mag-set ng dikit sa net kung quick, madaling madukot.
Coach Oji, obviously frustrated. Napainom siya ng kape right after that particular sequence. And that is, I think, the first few points here. I think it's safe to say na naging kampante ang UST. And that is the frustration here of Coach Oji.
That's right, and he was talking about the choices, you know, being made inside the court. I mean, it's just the first 4 points, but, you know, Coach Oji finds it unacceptable that they were down 0-4.
Yeah.
And it's not just because, you know, I mean, not to put anything against the Griffins, but they're helping the Griffins to be able to earn the point.
VNS trying to mount a comeback here. Ibanez, lined that one up perfectly. 4-2 after a 4-0 burst here for VNS. UST have 2 unanswered. And it is Dux Yambao on the service line again for UST. Cruz to Bautista. Just better for defense here from Dux. And that time, Ibanez just doing enough to push that into the fingers of the VNS blockers.
Good decision by Josh Ibanez. So this is probably, that would deserve a thumbs up from Coach Oji Mamon.
Of course, just, you know, we just got to acknowledge his smarts, talking about Ibanez, as that will be a free point given away here to VNS. 5-3 the count after a 3-0 sprint after that timeout from Coach Oji. So that should read 5-3 in favor of VNS here at the bottom of your screen. As Ibanez will score again. So Ibanez is starting to take over here in this one.
That's right, and he has been playing smart as well. This time off the hands, wiping it off the hands of the blockers.
Josh Ibanez, such a special player for UST. Guerra lifts that up, pushes that up with Ibanez able to control that. Oh, and that was desperate stuff here from VNS to get that across. Nothing they could do about that though. Sally joining in the scoring.
More synchronized Golden Spikers we're seeing here.
You know, we were actually talking about how at the start of the game, even though UST were in the lead, they did feel a bit disjointed.
Yes.
That last time out, it felt like it glued this team together.
Well, that was too strong for Ibanez.
Again, we have to stop complimenting these guys when they are on the service line.
Let's just find another timing for these compliments.
Let's talk trash instead and see if that changes things. 6-5 right now in favor still of VNS. VNS keeping that alive. Oh, not really the type of contact that he wanted there. And that'll be a check in favor of UST. Sally has been producing here in set number 3.
This is the last attack by Sally off the hands of the block.
Guerra lifting this one up. All the options to aim at. And that time the effort from Yambao, unable to get that, but I think they're going to challenge it because they're saying that the ball did not touch the floor, went off the hands of Yambao and onto the thigh of another player.
So that should still be playable before the whistle.
Because the thigh is not the floor. But let's see if that is accurate. Whether or not it did hit the floor, by the way. So far, it has been a stop-start set here coming from UST. Again, if you're just joining us, thank you so much for being here on Pilipinas Live. This is the UST-GAMEVILLE Golden Spikers taking on the VNS Griffins. I'm Paulo de Rosario alongside Ivy Remulla with Ayana Perelas joining us on the sideline. So there is a floor touch, but not because of the thigh action. It is because the pancake save was not successful.
So that would this would now be in favor of the Griffins.
The Griffins, a chance here to go into the technical timeout with the lead. I don't think they've done that the entire game. Ooh, but Macam coming in strong.
Perfectly executed hit there. Look at the wind-up. In between the two blockers. So this is what's going to be important now for VNS. You just have to make sure that they keep the blocking tight. Not to make it too difficult for the positioning of their floor defense.
Golden Spikers trying to regain the lead here. Again, good coverage from UST and trying to grab a bit of the line. They are unable to do so, so it is VNS going into our first technical timeout with the lead, able to outpace UST early on here in set number 3.
You're still watching the Spikers Turf Invitational Conference where power meets passion. Now, Paolo and Ivy, let's talk about the reason towards UST's lapses and errors. We all saw that in their last game and in the sets earlier. And as mentioned by Coach Oji, they have been changing their system almost annually. Their current system was just established this May. So in the words of Coach Oji, it is still very immature. But he is not expecting to win. He is expecting to see what they've trained for put into action. The main goal of joining this conference is to learn, focus, and develop the system before the UAAP, and joining a commercial league is the best way to do it.
Thank you so much for that report. That was Ayana Perlas with that. And, you know, for Coach Oji, he's a bit of a mad scientist. He likes to tinker and try new things and make a difference. And there is going to be a growing pain. And what we are seeing when we say that they are disjointed from time to time, that is it.
Yeah.
As VNS able to regain the lead.
But I like how you describe Coach Oji as a mad scientist.
Yes.
Because sometimes in some timeouts, he really fits that description.
The mad scientist who ends up with a cup of coffee at the end. And right now, ooh, that was stinging from Makam. 9-9 here. So with this system still in the works, learning by doing, UST are still impressing here against VNS, who have improved exponentially from that first frame that we saw, partner, as that time sent long. And Coach Oji frustrated by that error.
Well, the service error is something that the Golden Spikers are able to control as compared to the last game. 17 service errors in their last game. That's quite a lot. So far, they've only committed 6, which is good.
Ball lifted up, still alive. And that time just goes out. So VNS double up their lead.
Back-to-back errors for the Golden Spikers.
Katinsag checks out as Yamanaka comes back in. Again, instant impact a while ago for Yamanaka.
Yes.
It is a brief cameo in the last frame.
We'll see if the same will happen now as he enters here in this set.
That is Bautista with the serve. Oh, Ibanez. Again, he gets on that trampoline. He feels like he's never coming down.
The hang time really for Josh Ibanez. He can do a lot of things in midair. He can still read the paper, probably browse through his newsfeed.
Of course. There's a basketball term, nagkape sa ere. And what a stinging shot coming from VNS.
That was an excellent hit. And VNS would really need more of that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Nothing that they could do about that. So all of a sudden, it's a 2-point advantage here for VNS. Ibanez. Good save, kept alive.
Good effort there from the Griffins.
But nothing stopping that. You know, you got a feel there for the Griffins.
And that was Makam from the back row. That was his 16th point of the match. 13 out of 21 attempts. Very high success rate for them.
UST still trailing by 1, looking for a bit of a comeback here, but throw the point away. So 2-point lead again. So VNS, you know, they're feeling a bit of momentum here. You can feel them growing into this frame. And all had to do really with the slow start of UST. And that's going to be a net violation here for VNS. A bit of a frustrating sequence there for Coach Ralph.
There you go. That was a net violation.
Yeah, just a lack of awareness there. Can't have that at this level.
Good save by Daxiang Bao.
And Bakil unable to get that across. again, for VNS, those feel like two sequences, 2 points given away that they could have avoided, to be quite honest.
I agree. I agree.
Guerra with the setup, a one-handed set. And did he overcook that? Able to get the line.
Sally was already waiting for his chance to attack.
And that was important because UST actually knotted things up courtesy of the 2 errors of VNS. That's a balk here on the service line for VNS. Trying to maintain this lead, getting a bit of help from the tape. Oh, and that was hit with a bit of spice.
Trevor Valera is really having a good day today. And we're talking about the number of attempts he has with his attacks, and he has been able to convert majority of that into points.
That's true. Joshua Avila with the serve there. He lifts it up. Oh, Ibanez. Did he get the corner? Yes, he did.
He did. Josh Ibanez just surprising the defense of VNS. Nobody saw that coming.
You know what? There's a reason why his name is Josh Ibanez, kasi iba siya.
That was witty.
I like how you call that out. Oh, giving chase here. Can they save it? No, they can't. As Josh Ibanez gives us a high five. But what an effort there.
What an effort, really. I think we were in the way that time.
Yeah, it's our fault.
Sorry about that.
Let's take a look at that. Watch this effort here. And I think, makakuha tayo sa camera eh.
I couldn't. I was supposed to return it, but I might get blamed.
Valera. Yambao, not that time. Lifted up again. The intensity ramping up here in San Juan. And the rally continues. VNS still can't score. UST go to Yambao. Who do VNS turn to here? And that time scoring off the block. VNS go to our second technical timeout with a 1-point lead, but UST are on the hunt. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go away. We'll be right back.
Every year kasi ito yung parang nilook forward namin, yung Spikers Turf talaga. So, yung team namin is composed of young guns and mga konting veterans. So, mix siya. So, sobrang excited ako kung paano mag-mix or mag-gel yung mga ganong tao sa isang team.
You know, talk about the composition here of VNS, a mix of young guns, a mix of veterans, and again, learning together as a group and really punching above their weight, partner. And sometimes they have been successful, but Macam's ensuring, like, nope, they won't be successful here as he ties it up at 16 apiece.
17 points for Macam here in this game. And again, he's also been one of the more consistent producers of points for the Golden Spikers.
Right now, Macam has performed admirably. That was a stinging serve. Dealt well with here by VNS. Oh, and that was so good coming from Bautista. Just beyond Alabar. Here's another look at that again. The elevation, lifting that over the two blockers. And the captain serving here for VNS, trying to maintain this advantage. UST want to knot it up through Ibanez.
Another powerful hit from Josh Ibanez.
That was fantastic there coming from Ibanez. Again, there's that hang time. You know, he looks like he's soaring in the sky because of the way he cocks back his legs. Ooh, but that was good too. Nux Yambao gives the lead here to UST, 18-17. And Valera now. He overcooked that. And all of a sudden, we are knotted up at 18 apiece. This might be the biggest challenge here for UST because they're a team still learning how to control their air account partner. And when the pressure rises, especially what we're seeing right now as they're trying to close this one out, we're going to see if they can keep their game clean. And that was clean coming from Yambao. He has been enjoying his spot there on the right wing.
That's right. So this is probably one of those experiments of Coach Oji Mamon. Yambao now taking on the role of an attacker. So he has been orchestrating the plays, and now he's one of those players being given those sets.
Oh, and that was poor there in terms of the reception coming from VNS. Oh, Ibanez! He can jump out of the gym. VNS Griffin soup for time as we give you this replay again. Ibanez with the point. Chance to listen in.
Kailangan nyo makahabol talaga doon kung mabilis. Footwork na side cross side o kaya side hop, aabot doon. Okay, o receive na natin na maganda. Receive maganda para maka-atake tayo. Play 1. Go. Go tayo, go.
Sampay ko tayo.
Go, go, go!
Let's go! Let's go!
Again, VNS a bit frustrated with the way that they have let the lead go. And it's, again, a growing process for this group. And you can hear the frustration in Coach Ralph Ocampo's voice. But then when guys like Ibanez, when guys like Yambao have hit their stride here in set number 3 at the right time, they're always going to be a tough team to stop.
That's right. But we've seen also bright spots, bright moments from VNS. And again, has always been just a question of how they're able to maintain it. And this is a good response from Diwa.
Just a 1-point lead here, still anybody's set. As VNS look to extend this one. Again, John Diwa did not even start the last game, only scored 1 point against Chris Cross. Oh, Ibanez.
Oh, that makes it to the line.
So Ibanez a bit frustrated there as we're not up at 20 again. It's a good reply here for VNS. Great timeout from Coach Ralph as the advantage of UST has evaporated. Guerra will lift this one up and looking for a block touch, but they're going to get a net touch. There is going to be a challenge though.
So was there a violation?
And this is an important point here, considering already beyond the 20s.
Of course, for VNS, this would be an advantage to them if it works to their favor.
Yes.
They're down by 2 sets, so they need to get the third if they want to extend the match.
And again, this is a group that we know they have the potential to. If I'm not mistaken, their first game here, they did have an extended frame.
And I think that's something that, you know, they could really look back into because that was against one of, you know, the most powerful teams we have. So there was a net touch.
And you know what? Some people ask players, like, how do you not feel that you touched the net?
You know, it's with the intensity of the game. It's just because of your very much in the adrenaline rush, and sometimes, you know, these are things that you don't really realize.
Yeah, that's why you feel all the aches and pains in your body
After. Yes.
And that time, Ibanez able to get the score. So UST will get that point, and we're all tied up at 21. Do we have an extended set here? Well, Ibanez is going to be hoping no. And he gives the point back. And unfortunately for Ibanez, it hasn't been a great day for him in terms of his serves.
He's been very good with his attacks, but his serves are not just working well for him today. 12 service errors for UST in total. VNS only 3.
Oh, and that time giving that point back. And don't look now, folks, but VNS are 2 points away. Cue the timeout from UST.
Serve. Bibigay ko sa'yo. Kaya ka ba?
23-21, ito yung araw-araw na pressure game natin.
Sige.
Close out tayo. Let's go.
Kaya ka pa. Let's go, ha?
Kaya natin yan.
Let's go!
Relax lang, relax. Tapos.
Everyday pressure game natin to. Because typically, this is the type of setting coaches like to put their teams through to ensure that they are able to operate under a certain degree of pressure. So if this is the scenario they're used to, let's see whether or not UST can perform. VNS to serve here. That's the type of reception they need. And that's the type of swing they need too.
Makam scores another point for UST. That's his 18th point. Important serve now here for the Golden Spikers.
Safe serve there for UST. And able to keep that alive here, Ibanez. Whatever from these two squads, by the way. We've seen so many of those. Yambao, Ibanez, Makam. He came and he conquered.
That was probably not the intention for Makam, but either way, a point is a point for the Golden Spikers.
Here's another look at that, partner.
That could have gone outside.
And there was nothing they could do about it. Talking about VNS, 23 all. Guerra with the setup, trying to get that lead back, but then he goes wide. And we are now just 1 point away. Talking about UST. Let's listen in.
Dapat yun lang yung kamay niya dun sa line. Kasi pag ganun out ni, single block na yun. Kahit pumalo ka ng semi-cross-court nun, papasok yung palo mo eh. Okay lang. Oh, magandang receive lang. Magandang receive.
Go, bawi.
Discount tayo. Go. Pasa lang muna.
Go. Bilis!
You know, we talk about teaching moments. And Coach Ralph, again, teaching very technical things in terms of where to target in terms of certain areas. And you gotta feel that right now, the note that he gave at the end, which we hear from almost every timeout, that first ball, that reception is so important.
That's right, and everything starts with a good pass.
Oh, and that was almost not it, but they'll score anyway.
VNS holding on here. We are tied 24 all.
An extended frame here. And a chance here for VNS to get the advantage. Great first ball. Good floor defense here shown by VNS.
Oh,
and
but
that is a net
violation error on the side of the Golden Spikers.
And a chance to steal the frame. VNS. They look like a different squad now.
Well, this could be their second set win so far in all of their games.
That was a good serve. But Makam. Great reception here for VNS. How do UST reply? Makam again.
And it sails out.
And that was important here, coming for UST, because we're now tied up at 25 all. Back to square one. Here is Sally. Oh! UST not able to take advantage. And they're asking for a net violation again. And it is the same man here coming from UST, Trevor Valera, with his second net fall.
And those net violation errors are coming in at the most crucial time of the match.
Again, a chance here to claim the set, the VNS. Ooh, and Makam. The great hit, free ball to play with here for UST. Makam again. Good coverage. Makam, another attempt. Makam won't stop. And VNS still can't score. Setting up Makam again.
What a defense from VNS.
But UST answering back too. Ibanez this time, and he gets it. What a rally. What an effort.
And the point goes to UST, but I say what an effort from both teams.
Yes.
That was actually one of the best rallies we've had so far here in this match. The defense was excellent from both sides.
The crowd started to fill up here, and boy, what a sequence they were treated to.
So everybody's huffing and puffing inside the court.
Yeah. Even Makam. Makam, I think, had like 4 attempts there in that last sequence, in that last rally. And that will go VNS's way again. Another chance for them to get the set. They need just one, and Pedrosa will try to give that decisive serve. Alabar with the reception. Ibanez. That will go to a set 4. Ibanez not getting the angle right. And don't look now, ladies and gentlemen. But VNS are in this with a shout. 14 errors here in set number 3 after only having 4 in the second frame. Another look at that. How fitting is it that the biggest problem of UST was the reason why they ended that frame this way. So we're going to a 4th set here in a day of what has been a 5-star in the first game. Who knows what we have here in the second. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still joining us here at Sun 1, where UST drops the 3rd frame, now 2-1. But what a game here, because VNS, we're going to have to give them their flowers, because they were able to hold off their error count. They only had 3 errors here, and they also had their block game on point. They had 3 blocks. That has been so consistent here for VNS in this game. But as good as VNS was in terms of their net defense and in terms of keeping their game clean, Partner, this loss of UST in this set and the last set is very much a UST problem.
That's right, I agree. And as we take a look at the numbers you see on your screen, this is what you were talking about, you know. Yes, the UST had 23 attack points, and that's practically the entire set. They just needed 2 more points. But look at the number of free points they gave away to VNS. 14 errors here in the third set. And you know, more than the free points being given away, those errors give out more confidence and more momentum to your opponent. And that's exactly what happened in the last stretch of the third set.
I think in our extension, it felt like, I think UST might have had 3 errors in that sequence. So the reason why we had an extended frame in the first place, and of course, it's been a catalog. That's been a problem here for UST. Their biggest issue of the conference so far. Again, we mentioned going into this game, they had 66 total errors, and that count is now growing.
Well, you mentioned about the number of errors they committed towards the last stretch of the third set, and it was at the 20-point mark after they scored a point off, or VNS scored a point off the block. It was consecutive errors from UST, from the service line, from the ball handling error. They had 2 violation errors, and then the last was an attack error.
You know, partner, at the moment, this has been a very error-prone team, as Omandal unable to get that, will be able to get that rather. So here is Ibanez. Guerra with the setup, and that time getting the brush of the block. So we talk about the confidence that the errors gave VNS. We are seeing that here they look so much lighter here in set number 4.
That's right. So body movements wise, you know, and well, they always, in most of the sets we've seen today, you know, they would normally start out strong.
Yeah.
So I said it's a matter of how well they're able to sustain it, and they were able to do that in the third.
So a chance here for UST to get a bit of the lead here in set number 4 as Guerra, another setup. That I'm trying to brush that off the blockers, but that will be a net violation against VNS. Here's another look at that sequence. There it is, clear as day. And that time, the point will go the way of a VNS. And just to put this in context, partner, we're not even done with this game. And UST at the end of the last frame have now totaled 94 errors in 3 games so far in the conference, not counting the ones that we've just seen here.
And that's a very big number and an important number that they should really look at, because, you know, moving on to more crucial games, if you're committing that much error, it's going to be more difficult for your team to be, you know, you have to keep on bouncing back every time. You have to keep on chasing every time.
Yeah. You know, you talk about the physical exertion of trying to make the comeback and the mental exertion.
Actually, more than anything, I think it's all about what's going on in your head, you know, every time you make all those errors.
Eventually become emotional strain as Valera unable to get his hit right. Again, I believe he was trying to get the hands of the blockers, but missing that completely. So VNS now with a 2-point lead. So if UST's confidence is shot here, if you're VNS, time to take advantage. Because again, credit to VNS. The lack of errors that they've had is so important. Ibanez with the effort, free ball to play with. Guerra with the setup from the back row.
Good play there from the Griffins, taking advantage of the fact that everybody else on the side of the UST court is still scrambling.
Here's another look at that. And Coach Oji had harsh words for Valera, by the way. You saw that replay a while ago, and the way that Valera was set up for the block. He was not happy. Delicana, at that time, Bakil did not read that correctly. But that's a precious point here for UST, now trailing by 2. Take a look at the service errors here, partner. You have the list here.
Well, for UST, we already have a total of 13 in this game. Most were committed in the third set. They had 6 in the third set.
You see, when we criticize them, nagka-ace. I don't know what it is when it comes to the commentators. Because here's Umandal scoring this ace when we mentioned that they had 13 service errors in this game. By the way, they had 6 in set number 3. Guerra. Better blocking here shown by UST. Lifting that up again. VNS trying to get a bit of the blockers. But then the point going to UST instead. And we're knotted up at 6. So Umandal has been strong here on the service line, at least in this occasion. Oh, trying to save that, but then that goes into the crowd. Umandal unable to control Bautista's hit. You know, they always say you may be ahead on paper. You might be the team that everyone expects not to win or not to do well. But then if you give anyone the confidence, like what UST did in set number 3, anything could happen.
I agree. And VNS, you know, was able to take a good, they took advantage of that fact, and they maximized all the opportunities they had.
Talking about maximizing opportunities, Andre Delicana didn't even play in the last game for UST, but he's already made a contribution here in set number 4. And we go to our first technical timeout with UST with a 1-point lead.
Welcome back to the Spikers Turf Invitational Conference 2025. This is set number 4, UST versus VNS.
All right, so I think we're going to get back to Ayana Perlas later on. But at the moment here, UST taking the lead at our first technical timeout, 8-7. And that's important, partner, because in the last frame, they did not go to a technical timeout with the lead. It was always VNS.
That's right.
This might be at least a momentum shift, a mental shift, as Ibanez scores off the block of Pedrosa. And Ibanez has been carrying the scoring load here alongside Macam, partner.
Yes, he already has 24 points here in this ball game, and Macam follows with 20. And the rest are Valera with 9, Yambao has 3, and Mandal also has 3.
I believe Mandal has 4 right now after that ace he had a while ago as well. Oh, we're managing to keep it alive. Yes, they can. Guerra lifts it up. Well, we are seeing a more incisive UST team. But as I say that, Diwa with a single block to shut the door.
Coach Oji not happy about that. Goes to talk to Valera.
And so far, partner, not to say we're picking favorites here, but Valera has received an earful multiple times already. Ibanez, oh,
smart
touch. Again, you know, Ibanez, when you take a look at this replay, he reminds me so much of Super Mario. the ability to just stay up in the air.
And that's why he has a lot of time to look at the defense and decide where to bring the ball. Do I hit it? Do I tip it? Again, the luxury.
And that time, VNS answering back. You know, we gotta credit VNS as well because apart from that first set, it was not... Well, apart from that first set, VNS have kept this relatively close.
Yes, and they've given a lot of... they've been challenging UST a lot, actually. You know, we've seen a lot, more and more sequences where we have long rallies, an excellent defense. And Ibanez just trying to have too much of an angle with his hit.
And frustration there. Even Ibanez was frustrated with himself after hitting that straight to the net.
Coach Audrey has been going up in his seat quite a lot already.
There is no more coffee in his hands. He is attacking caffeinated. Oh, from the back.
Oh, but
what a save.
Give up from Cruz. Unfortunately, no, the response from his team is not what we would have wanted, but Cruz has been doing very well defending the net. A lot of hard hits he was able to pick up. Difficult angles he was able to save. It might be a little bit frustrating for him, you know, when those things happen.
Well, Cruz is one of the oldest members of this team. Talking about VNS. Siyempre, when we say oldest members, he's only 25 years old.
But that's the most senior already in the roster.
One of the most senior. Diwa is actually the most senior one. But UST, what a reply here.
Excellent hit from Umandal.
You know, Umandal making a name for himself. And of course, showing off some power here. Drawing the oohs and ahs here in San Juan. Guerra trying to be clever.
But that was well read by Yambao.
Great coverage.
Oh, there was a net infraction.
So Diwa will be hit with that infraction.
Three-point advantage being enjoyed now by the Golden Spikers.
Yambao with the serve. Guerra with the setup again. Going up. Ibanez. Oh, what a save again. Bautista. Now Cruz gets it across. Oh my goodness. Delicana, who didn't even play the last game, is making an impact here in set number 4. Cue the timeout and a chance to listen in.
Tira dapat nyo pa floor. Nangyayari, hinahaba nyo eh. Ano yung may malakas na palo ko, sakto dun sa defender yung palo nyo. Okay? Smart lang smart. Katulad yan, nanggigigil tayo, nag-error tayo na nag-error. Ibig sa dikit sana yung score. Dahil nanggigigil tayo, ha? Composure lang tayo. Go tayo, go.
Let's go! Hey, VNS!
Well, that was the VNS huddle. Again, talking about composure here. And you know what, partner? We have the chance here to talk about what Ayana was actually supposed to report a while ago because she just sent us a message here talking about Coach Oji's reaction to that last sequence or that last frame. He is questioning what's happening. He doesn't know really because he feels that his team should be focused mentally and well rested because there are no classes anymore. So, with that question posed to his team, let's see if they can come up with a reply. Because right now, so far so good because it was 14-10 prior to that point coming the way of VNS. Now makes it a 3-point lead. Again, thank you so much to Ayana for sending us that report. And of course, here's Ibanez again. And, you know, Ibanez, it has been a frustrating day for him. He has been getting the numbers up, but then towards the tail end of that last frame and in parts of this one, he has been shut out a bit.
That's right. VNS is able to figure out you know, his tendencies, attack tendencies, and he's been denied a couple of times. Another denial at the net, but covered by UST that time.
Oh, and that was a stinging hit here for VNS. They refused to go away, partner. And that has been such a weapon here for this Griffin squad.
They may have not won a game yet, but again, once they're able to get into their system, you know, they can really pose a challenge to their opposing teams.
Now, talk about the efficiency of Ibanez a while ago, as that is a good hit there coming from Katinsag of UST. Ibanez is now down to 51% in terms of his attacks. So he'll have a chance to redeem himself on the service line here, because I believe he had 2 or 3 in the last frame. Safe serve. Guerra lifts it up. And that's a good block coming from UST. They up their lead to 16-13. And cue the second tactical timeout. UST looking a bit more comfortable.
Malaking tulong to, preparation para sa UAP namin. And siyempre, alam naman natin, nandito yung Signal, yung mga ibang teams na mga malalakas. So, magandang exposure to sa team namin, lalo na dun sa mga bago para sa amin. At mas gumanda yung gel ng team namin this tournament.
Again, talking about the goals that they want to learn from Daxiambao with that statement, of course, getting the gelling in, the chemistry in. And I think, partner, we were talking about it off the air, that it feels like this is a group that hasn't really found that chemistry yet. They're finding it out here, sometimes the hard way. In this particular competition. And Josh Ibanez, who has such high standards for himself and for his group, I'm sure feels that as well.
That's right. And again, you know, they mentioned about having a new system, so that maybe something that, you know, is contributing to, you know, how they're performing as well. So, but yeah, that's the reason why, you know, they're here in this tournament. They took the opportunity to join the tournament so they can polish up all of these things. And hopefully, you know, once they go into their major tournament, all of these are already in place.
You know, and for this VNS team, again, who just scored off the block, a triple block, mind you, in that last sequence. There's so much to improve on for this group, and they are getting better, it feels like, set by set. But here's Delicana, able to come up strong.
And that's his 5th point already. 5 out of 8 attacks, so that gives him like a 60% average for success.
And Coach Oji, after that service error, got up, went to his bench, and had a lot of choice words to say.
I wish we could have the mic focus on Coach Oji when those moments happen.
Delicana, again, coming out here in set number 4 and making an impact. And I think it's also important here for all of us to note that we know that this UST team is still very much in the progress of fine-tuning what they want to do, especially for their own competitions after the Spikers Turf Invitational. And that means places are up for grabs, and this is an opportunity for people to step up. As Delicana unable to turn his hands and get that block in. 16-18, 16 serving 18 here with VNS, refusing to make this a comfortable game for UST. Oh, and another miscue here from the pair of Bautista and Diwa. There, you know, VNS has those moments wherein really communication might have been key.
Well, I can't forget.
Yeah.
Well, in that one last sequence where it was a very good save by Cruz. And
yeah. The end of set number 2.
2. Yeah, it was the second set. But this time around, good coverage.
And that, oh! That's going to be the point of VNS here. 19-17. Again, don't count out VNS because they are starting to develop a habit of being scrappy, of being a team that refuses to go away. Oh, and that was saved there by the libero, Alabar. Setting up Ibanez. And Ibanez looking for a check.
No check, I think, was called by the referee. That was clean, so point goes to VNS.
But there is going to be a challenge here. And they are not sure. Even the players on the court. Like, some of them said there was a touch, some of them said there wasn't. And again, UST are allowing VNS to come close here.
And this is towards the last stretch of the set. And again, you know, we're almost reaching the 20-point mark. So that means, you know, this is really crucial, each and every point, that error that they make.
No block touch. And if you're VNS, you are looking at the possibility of extending this to a 5th frame and perhaps stealing this after a poor first set by their standards. And a great third. Oh, and had to adjust there. This is a free ball to play with for VNS. And Bautista ties it up at 19.
There was a touch. Last touch by Ibanez at that time. I think he wasn't sure if he should have let it go. I'm talking about this one right here.
Again, frustration there from UST. And you can see that a while ago, I think they had a 3-point lead. And I was telling you that it felt like this should be more comfortable than what their faces suggest. And don't look now, but VNS have tied it up.
And it seems like, you know, VNS is, they're doing a good job, you know, like even if their situation that they're find themselves, you know, tough situations already, but somehow, you know, they're able to bring themselves up.
Yep.
And they're more confident when they play.
Here's Valera now. 20-19, UST with the lead, but no lead is safe here, as what we've seen in the past 2 frames in particular. Ibanez with the save, setting up Ibanez again. And Ibanez hit that with some emotion. 21-19.
And this is probably to make up for the previous errors that he has committed. This one is on point.
Di ba labas kamay? Kasi depensa. Di ba kailangan nyo mag-step up sa depensa, dalawa lang yan ha. Pasa lang tayo. Pasa lang tayo. Pasa lang tayo ng momentum. Pasa mo na. Go, 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 go! Wala tayo to! Hoy! Wala mo yan!
This feels like a punchier VNS team. From their first huddle, wherein they were talking about intensity, you can see it in their body language, the energy that they have in general. And you know that there's another level that they can find.
So it's just a matter of being able to bring that out, you know,
Yeah.
and be more consistent with it.
Trevor Valera with the serve. Guerra with the setup. Ibanez having to adjust. Practically a free ball to play with here. Push that. Kept that up from the back. And sending it long. 1-point lead for UST. Delicana, who was so good, particularly near the net, could not get that from the back. Changes here. As Bautista troops to the service line. And cue the timeout for UST. Chance to listen in.
gawan mo na lang ng sa ilang.
Okay, coach.
Pasok ka lang mo yung
Importante muna.
Sintak. Yung atake mo sa gitna.
Importante muna, magandang pasa.
Pasa ko. Yeah.
Prioritize siya, ha?
Pagpasa na ka maganda.
Hey, tuloy tayo, let's go! Fight!
Tapos sa panipin, tumulong ka sa gitna.
Coach Oji trying to steer this team into a good closeout here. But partner, we always have to bring up the fact that the closeouts are always the hardest.
That's right, I agree. And it's always going to be a test of character, especially if the game has been this close.
Ooh, and Ibanez. Guerra chased that. And that's a good hit coming from VNS. They tied up at 21 all. You know what? You got to credit Guerra as well. He wanted to make sure that there was quality in the setup. And the quality definitely was there. Guerra, because he's a beach volleyball player, ang bilis niya dito sa indoor. As a UST will answer, courtesy of Delicana. Again, Delicana has come up big here, partner, in set number 4. As Umandal will check back in.
Well, he has been producing the points. Very high conversion rate as well for him.
Daxiambao. Guerra. Good blocking. And Alabar with the save. And they give it to Umandal. And that time, getting that between the net and the blocker. That's exactly how you gotta hit it.
And we're tied 22 all. So both of these teams, of course, realizing the importance of winning this set. UST, of course, they would want to get this and get the win, but VNS will want to win this set and extend to a 5th.
You know, for those expecting that this could have been a simple 3-setter, well, you got that wrong. And there they are again. Delicana with the score, but they're going to challenge this. Talking about VNS, they're asking for a floor touch. Or rather, a foot fault. They held up the wrong sign. So it's going to be a foot fault check instead. So, as we mentioned a while ago, it was never going to be this simple. We should have known, because the courtside reporters, Ayana Perlas, famous for extended games.
Well, we are getting a quality game.
Oh,
so,
yes.
I mean, you wouldn't mind. I'm sure the fans here at the Phil Oil is enjoying the action as well.
We definitely are, partner. Coach Ralph is hoping that it is a foot fault. Again, if you're just joining us, welcome to Phil Oil Center. No foot fault according to this replay. And yes, you can clearly see it there. Again, you're still watching UST-GAMEVILLE Golden Spikers taking on the VNS Griffins. So UST will claim that point. If you're just joining us, I'm Paolo Del Rosario alongside Ivy Remulla. Ayana Perlas is our courtside reporter. Again, famous for long games. Oh! And UST saying, I don't want this to extend any longer. So Delicana did not play the last game, playing well now, and has been making a crucial impact in set number 4. Safe serve again coming from Ibanez. Bakil with the setup. Oh, and there it is! The ending they so crave for, sealed with the triple block.
UST winning it at the end. It wasn't easy for the Golden Spikers, but they held it in towards the end. And this triple block.
Nowhere to go.
But definitely nowhere to go.
As UST take the win, they had to work for it, partner. It felt like we went through an emotional roller coaster with them.
It's like we felt all the pain
All
that
the
he had to
frust-
go through, the frustration inside the court.
And it was hard fought, as you can see here, 3-1 in favor of UST. We're gonna have a chance to really dive deeper into this when we return. Don't go away.
You're still watching the Spikers Turf Invitational Conference 2025, and that concludes our second game for today's triple header. That was UST versus VNS, with UST winning in 4 sets. And joining me now is the best player of the game, JJ Macam, 20 points, 17 attacks, 2 blocks, and 1 ace. JJ, congratulations.
Thank you po.
JJ, alam ko, sabi mo sa akin, this is your second year sa UST. And ito talaga yung game na, sabi ni Coach Oji, gusto niya na mag-step up kayo, especially na wala si G-Boy. Can you talk to me about paano ka nag-step up para sa team mo today?
Naging ano lang po ako, focus sa laro. Kahit na yung laro po namin yun, medyo relax kami, ganun. Inisip ko lang kung ano yung mga kailangan kong makontribute sa team, tsaka yung kailangan ko muna dapat gawin bago umatake yun, which is receive. Kasi ayun nga, shaky ako sa receive, kaya kailangan ko tumulong talaga sa receive.
And super nag-improve ka in today's game, JJ. Gusto ko rin malaman, alam naman natin na kitang-kita yung errors ninyo as a team the past games. Sa tingin mo ba, anong kailangan yung gawin para ma-improve yung errors or ma-lessen yun in the next games to come?
Yung errors kasi normal sa amin eh, kasi sabi nga ni Coach, strong serve. Tapos yun nga, kaka-strong serve namin, napaka dami naming error. Ang tingin ko lang na gusto naming i-improve doon is yung targeting namin sa service, tsaka yung paano namin i-handle yung pressure inside the court. Kasi once na nape-pressure kami, hindi na namin alam yung paano yung tamang gawin sa loob ng court.
And hopefully sa next game, mawawala na yung pressure na yun, JJ. Congratulations. And syempre, may gusto ka bang batiin, JJ?
Hello sa UST community and sa mga sponsors po namin at sa mga lahat ng UST fans po na sumusuporta sa amin. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, JJ Macam, our best player of the game from the UST Golden Spikers. Congratulations, JJ. Back to you, Paul and Ivy.
Thank you so much. That was JJ alongside, of course, our reporter Ayana Perlas. Let's take a look at what was an entertaining set number 4 as well, partner. The underlying story here will always be the errors of UST, and that was a very frank assessment from Mr. Macam. I think it's safe to say, you know, they're still learning. They're still learning this way of play.
That's right. And yun nga, you know, these are things that you really learn through experience, and sometimes you have to learn the hard way. You have to learn by making mistakes. It's just that sometimes too many mistakes. But it's good that they have, you know, they have realization, or they understand, you know, what they need to work on. As we take a look at the numbers for that last set, UST still on top, again with the attacks, with the serves, and also with the blocks, even with the errors, unfortunately. But you know, at least they managed to pull it down, because the third set was really a huge amount of errors committed by the Golden Spikers. But more consistent play from UST here in the fourth set. But again, the Griffins really performed really well as well, and
Yes.
really making it hard for UST to establish that comeback. So if not, probably with errors again, that could have been easier for UST. But I want to give credit, of course, to VNS. They really fought very hard. Floor defense was something that was also exceptional on the side of the Griffins.
JJ mentioned that they were pressured and they didn't know what to do, and that pressure came from VNS.
That's right.
All right, up next, ladies and gentlemen, we have a big one. The Crisscross King Crunchers taking on the Signal Super Spikers, and that is up next. Thank you so much for joining us for the second game of this triple header. I'm Paulo De Rosario alongside Ivy Remulla, Ayana Perlas, who was our courtside report today, and we can't wait to see you enjoy our third game today.